Yes, we're ready.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the time is now 2:31 p.m. It's August 16th. This is the Corpus Christi B Corporation, also known as Type B Board. Call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is roll call. Ms. Huerta.
President Scott Harris.
Here.
Robert Tamez is absent. Diana Summers.
Here.
Leah Oliveri.
Here.
Lee Trujillo. Here. John Balls. Here. Alan Wilson. Michael Hunter. Mr. Hunter is absent. Okay, we do have a quorum present to conduct the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we get to public comment, I would like to recognize Dr. Miller. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your presence here. So I'll open it up to public comment. Would anyone like to make a public comment? Okay, Dr. Miller, thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, I'm excited to be here today to discuss our proposal to support economic development for the city of Corpus Christi as it relates to unmanned aircraft systems, or UAS. Our Lone Star UAS Center has been working closely with the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Corporation to advance research and educational mission while simultaneously supporting the growth of this $100 billion industry into the coastal bend. This is an industry that Goldman Sachs projects will double by 2025, an industry that the Newman Knight Franks Targeted Industry Study identified as one that Corpus Christi should pursue because our region is primed for attracting UAS drone business. Of course, the results of the previous Targeted Industry Study by this same group resulted in Exxon and Steel Dynamics locating in our region, and we are proud to support the growth of UAS, and we hope to be equally successful. This request will provide the missing pieces needed to attract UAS business to Corpus Christi, thereby leveraging our status as the home of one of only 7 UAS FAA test sites in the nation and the only site in Texas. It was the Type A board that provided the initial funding that allowed us to achieve this test site status. And at this time, to date, the $600,000 that the Type B board invested has resulted in $22.4 million in funding and investments. But the potential exists, the opportunity exists to greatly expand that number. Additionally, this request will support efforts to diversify Corpus Christi's economy. This request will support innovation and drone integration into industries like the port industries. This request will position Corpus Christi as a leader in UAS-related emergency management locally, regionally, and nationally. And of course, this request will enhance educational and research opportunities for A&M Corpus Christi students, that will help result in the educated workforce that's needed to support this industry. At this time, our proposal has unanimously been supported by the CCREDC's board. Additionally, we have engaged with our partners by meeting with members of this board, as well as the city manager and city staff, to provide a preview of the proposal and gather feedback. We have incorporated details into our proposal and presentation that address any questions that were raised. We have also worked through the CCREDC staff to answer additional questions from the city manager and the city staff. And just today, we secured a meeting on Friday, August 20th, to discuss remaining questions around the match. It is our hope that we will be on the next Type B board agenda for review. And it is further our hope that this request will create a partnership that the community will one day look back upon as an incredible, positive milestone in the history of our city, our region, and of course, the Island University. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Right at 3 minutes. That was perfect.
I know, that was great.
You probably practiced that. But before we say anything, I do want to, please be advised that the Open Meetings Act prohibits us from discussing the item at length. So I won't go through everything that I'm supposed to say, but just know that we appreciate the public comment, and we're hoping to see it on the board agenda very soon. So.
Well, we're really excited for this opportunity. Of course, it'll be great for our students, which is always our #1 priority, but we really think it's going to be wonderful for the city and the entire region. So we're excited. Thank you.
Okay. And John, did you have a question for me?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm a little confused because
John, your mic, I'm sorry.
for us to consider, because I know you asked for it, and now it's not on there. So what is it that we need to do, Peter, to get a better understanding and then
Right.
get geared up for it on an agenda, as an
Yes, sir.
agenda item?
Yes, sir. So as Dr. Miller said, we just have some few remaining questions. As we began to prepare the material to place it on the agenda, new information came to light that we may or may not have been told before. It just wasn't clear to my team to include a cash match from the state that seemed to have changed the project budget from what we first understood it to be. And so we're trying to understand that total budget so we can present it to you in a professional way. And so I've already talked to Dr. Miller. We're going to meet Friday with my team here, the finance team, myself, so we can get those final questions resolved so that we can put something on the agenda that we can defend and help you understand the project.
Okay, I know you'll do your complete due diligence, and I'm certain there was a reason why. Was just confused because I think every member of this board expected it to be on there, because we were quite excited about it, to be honest with you. And for it to not be on there, it's just a little confusing. But I'm sure you're doing your homework like you need to, and then you'll come to us with more information.
Right, that's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Yes, sir,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
So, any other public comment? Anybody else? Okay, Ms. Huerta, is there any written public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, very well. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Dr. Miller, again. Item D is our minutes from our July 19th regular meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Item E on the agenda is our financial report. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Board and Chairman, Heather Hurlbert, Director of Finance. Next slide, please. So these are the presentation of the financials for the B Corporation for the 9 months ended June 30th. The first schedule shows our combined funds between our affordable housing, our economic development, and streets. So we began the year with a almost $8 million fund balance. We have revenues to date of $5.7 million, expenditures to date of $5.1 million, leaving us an ending fund balance of $8.5 million. Of that ending fund balance, it is broken up between the affordable housing, economic development, and streets, which we will talk about in the schedules that follow. Next slide, please. So affordable housing, we are expecting to end the year with $1.7 million fund balance, and currently we only have one commitment of $500,000 for Salvation Army, which we estimate that will be paid out during fiscal year 2023. Next slide, please. For our economic development, we expect to end the year with a fund balance of about $5 million. In 2022, the Streets Fund will be reimbursing the Economic Development Fund for the $2.5 million that was lent to complete some projects on the street side. And then we do have several outstanding commitments, including the Botanical Gardens, the USO South Texas, which we will talk about a little bit later in the meeting, the Next Sports Company, Cole Park Pier, which has already been funded in this fiscal year, and the La Vista Point Incentive Agreement. Next slide, please. In our streets, we
Ms.
expect...
Heather, we have a question by
I'm
Mr.
sorry?
Wells.
Yeah, can you go back one slide, Heather?
Sure.
The Next Sports Company, man, I'm missing it, but I don't remember us approving that.
Soccer.
This is the soccer one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I thought we did it. We did an extension.
We did, and they met their deadlines.
They did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, golly, yeah, for sure. Okay,
It was either 2 or 3.
yeah,
You might have.
maybe I missed it.
Yeah. So as our latest report from them is that they did meet all commitments. They did give the information to the city manager, and they are moving forward. I believe that they have closed on the land.
Okay.
They did that a couple of months ago, I believe.
Okay.
And project is still moving forward.
And the fund balance of 5 million, this is where we want to eventually transition some of the A programs into this. And Leah had she had a good idea on that, so we might need to look at doing that a little sooner if it
Sure.
works out. Okay, thank you.
Sure, and yes, and as we exhaust that, the economic development portion of the Type A,
Right.
those contracts will be either within 2022 or 2023, they will transition over to, the intention is to transition them over to the Type B.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Okay?
So, Scott, can I? Yeah, just one thing I was thinking about to cut out some of this, and I don't know, I can't remember what other economic development commitments we might have, but we could go ahead and look at a way to fund more out of A, even this year, to use up that money, and then know that next year we'll have to fund it totally out of B. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a better job of maybe sweeping that account. I'm
So-
sure y'all have thought about that.
Exactly. So as it is, the budget right now reflects that we will be bringing that balance to zero by the end of or it'll be fully committed by the end of 2022. I believe we'll have one economic development incentive that is scheduled to be paid
Right.
out in 2023. So what we may have, though, is that those contracts that are committed in 2021, if they aren't fully spent to the amount that
We may
was
have some
committed,
balance.
then we may have a little bit of extra there that will need to either go into 2023 or could be allocated to some other project.
Right. Sometime we've got to get rid of having to.
Yeah, exactly. You know, right now, as of the budget, the budget that Eddie presented last meeting did fully expend those funds by the end of 2023.
So, and when you're showing us these balances, if I'm tracking the money correctly, the current and future incentives have been taken out of the fund balance, so you're tracking.
So that they are showing, so on slide number 4, this is basically showing a cash flow.
Right.
So when the incentives are scheduled to be paid are deducted within that year, so this should give you a more realistic
Realistic
idea
idea of
of
balance.
when they're going to be paid, when that revenue is coming in, and what those expenses are.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Next slide, please. So in the streets, like I had mentioned on the economic development, in 2022, we are scheduled to transfer the money from the streets that is owed back to economic development, the $2.5 million. We expect to end the year with about a $300,000 fund balance. And I believe the $1.2 million was programmed in the budget to be spent and applied towards projects. Next slide, please. Again, like in the Type A, the Type B, we are running ahead of where the budget was by about $500,000. And we've received all but actuals numbers for all but 2 of the months out of the year, so the last 2 months. So that does conclude my presentation. I'm available for any additional questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional questions? Leah, you have your button on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Questions? Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
Okay, we'll move to our regular agenda items. G3 is the approval of an amendment to our guidelines and criteria for granting business incentives.
Second. Go ahead.
We're not going to let Randy talk. We have a motion and a second on the floor.
Thank you.
Man, I like the way
You want to
Randy
do it?
You should
How
have
are you
presented.
gonna do that?
Yeah, you like that.
We can read.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say no? Okay. You heard Ms. Summers say aye? Okay. Okay, very well. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, item 4 is business incentive agreement, extension of date for the USO. Mr. Culbertson.
Okay, and on this item, Mr. Wilson will be recusing himself.
Okay.
Okay, remember, this is a different video. So Mike Culbertson from your Corpus Christi Regional EDC with good news. What I have before you is the USO, and we all know about the USO and the service that they provide, and from what I understand, talking with Ms. Banta today, the service they provide for the National Guard that's down here at the mall, 42 people. I had no idea they'd activate that for that many. But what they've did, you have this board has approved a grant for $250,000 to help them with their reconstruction of Building 3. They've run into a few things as COVID, everybody knows, the inability to get some construction materials, NAVFAC South, or is it Southeast? Came back with they not only need a fire protection, but they need a fire suppression or fire prevention system. And so they've gone through all that. I have Ms. Banta here, the director of the USO. If you have any questions, the EDC recommends approval, and I stand by for any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Banta. And Mike, do we have any questions?
No, I just was going to make a motion.
Go for it.
I move we approve a 6-month extension. Is that where you're at?
Yes,
That's okay.
it'll
just
probably
6
be
months,
before then,
okay.
but
A
we wanna be
6-month
sure.
extension.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say no.
Right.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Summers.
And Wilson
Not as
abstains.
good as
yeah.
Randy, but really fun.
Yep.
I would have done it.
Say again, Ms.
Wilson,
Ward.
Wilson abstains, just for the record.
Okay, and,
And Mr. Thames is absent. Mhm. Sorry?
yeah, Director Wilson abstained,
Yes, sir.
for the record. We didn't give you that big of a break.
He recused himself.
We've got a lot of comedy today, and
I do think that people out there need to know, Alan is not directly personally involved in this. I believe your wife is on the board of the USO, so he's above and beyond. Thank you.
I tell you, but it needed one more vote.
item J on the agenda is Executive Director comments. Mr. Zanoni?
Okay, great. Yes, sir. Thank you. So just a reminder for some of the board members that terms for the A and B board for 3 people, 3 board members expire soon. So that includes Alan Wilson, John Valls, and Chairman Scott Harris. So you all are eligible for reappointment, which is good news. And but you do need to reapply by August 31st. Okay, so August 31st, which is fast approaching. And the city secretary and myself plan on taking these appointments to city council on September 7. Okay, September 7 city council meeting. So that's why the August 31st deadline is that soon, right? We'll get your applications in, take appointments to council on the 7th, and the terms as current terms for those 3 members is September 30th. Okay. Any questions on that? The city secretary is here as well.
Yeah, so you'll be receiving the email that I told you about with that link to reapply. You should be receiving it by today. It's already been sent, so you look for that in your mailboxes.
Thank you. Does that conclude?
Okay, and that concludes, yeah, with the exception that we already stated it, but we want to make sure we present all the accurate information on the Texas A&M Corpus Christi drone program. And so we're confident that with this hopefully this final meeting with Dr. Miller this Friday, the mayor will be there as well. She and I held a meeting with Dr. Miller about a month ago.
Yeah.
And so we'll have this final meeting this Friday, and we'll place this on the next Type B agenda.
So Peter, is there, what about a special meeting? We do have the workshop coming up on the
Yeah.
25th at 1:30. Is there
Yeah.
a way maybe we can accommodate a special meeting right beforehand? It's just going to be one item,
Right?
maybe at
yeah.
1? I don't know if the chamber's available that day at 1, or
let
I'd leave
us-
that kind of up to you, but
Okay,
I would recommend, just so we can get it out of the way.
right. Let me look at the schedule real quick here, the calendar. I believe so. If we, if the team can get everything in order between Friday, let's see, the 25th would be Wednesday. We'd be posting when? Monday?
Yeah, we already have the room at 1:30
What's
for
that?
the workshop.
Okay, well, it's going to be, I'll give you an opinion. It seems like it'd be close because the meeting's not till 3:30 on Friday. We'd have to post by the end of business that day as
Okay.
well.
Either way, can we have a special meeting before the regular meeting then?
Yeah, we can do
Or-
that. I'll work with you on that. We'll work with you on a special meeting.
Yeah.
It may not be during that 25th of August, but we can do it before the next scheduled meeting.
Okay.
Okay? That's not a problem.
And even if the ducks aren't in a row, we do want to have a special meeting
Yeah.
to discuss the item. Might take approval at September, but at least a discussion item ahead of time, that would,
Okay.
that would benefit the members
Yeah.
of the board, so,
No problem.
that.
We're fine with that.
okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Executive Director comments, that was
That
good?
concludes my comments. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, I'll call this meeting to adjournment. The time is now 2:52 PM. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.